Hey everyone, this is Kyle with Financial Strategies Group. I'm an advisor here. I have the lovely Paige who sits at the front desk and her boyfriend Colin. So today we're going to give you guys an idea of some of the questions and thoughts and concerns that people in their mid 20s have and how we address those and what makes the most sense.
So basically, where we're at is that we both have stable jobs, and I think that we're now kind of getting a glimpse of, we got some extra money, we're creating budgets, we're getting life for ourselves. So we're kind of at that point where like, where do we go
We're
from
actually
here?
starting to think about our future
Sure.
for a change.
So
That
yeah,
makes sense.
where
Yeah.
do we go from here? Essentially,
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned it, budgets, right? So I don't like to use the word budget because it's kind of like a swear word, but lifestyle, right? So do you guys have or keep track of what your lifestyle is month to month?
Oh yeah.
we're getting That's I think that where we're at is an organization, and do have some debts thanks to having stable jobs. I think that's where we're like, okay, we have money to pay off these debts, but we also have
Sure.
money to move on to our lifestyle and go from there.
Which makes sense. That's why you're in here. I have extra money now. What do I do with it? How do I best
it
employ
wisely.
that? Yeah, how do I use it wisely? How do I
Yeah.
make the right decision? Have you guys identified the debts that you want to take care of first? Have you prioritized? Are you paying extra?
You want the honest truth?
Yeah.
What we've been focusing on is what's on our credit score. We figured those are important. We want them off. We want to free up our credit for future purchases, essentially.
Sure.
And then on top of that, life does happen. Do we need multiple savings accounts for multiple different situations? Do we just focus on the debts first and only, portion a small amount to our savings? Is it 50-50?
Sure.
Kind of a thing like that.
Sure. How do we most efficiently use our cash? Right? We have extra money. How do we make sure we're taking care of ourselves first? So you kind of mentioned too that you guys are just getting into your jobs to where you feel established. So at both of your jobs, do you guys have retirement plans?
I do. And you guys here match 3%. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, Colin?
I do not, unfortunately. So
Okay.
anything that I do is all private accounts because my company is very cut and dry.
Smaller company probably.
Yeah, it
Is
is
that
a very
fair?
it is
Yep.
a very small
That happens.
company.
That's a good point. So obviously, kind of the first things that I initially like to talk about and make sure that we have a good understanding of is understanding your lifestyle, understanding how much extra do we have. Because as an advisor, it's very difficult to plan if we don't have a good idea of what kind of cash flow are we working with. The second piece is I would like to get a list of you guys' debts, the interest rates, what you owe on them, and what you've been typically paying. I think it probably makes the most sense to put them all together, look at them, and we're going to identify, okay, what's a good debt to keep at the moment, and which one should we prioritize and take care of first.
Right.
All the while balancing that out with saving and building an emergency fund and preparing for the things that you can't prepare for. I can buy another car breaks down, a wedding, or purchase of a house, right? So how do we balance all of those things out? Unfortunately, it's not an easy answer, right? It's kind of like a puzzle,
Yeah.
right? Getting all these pieces together and prioritizing it, but that's certainly something that can help with.
We've talked about this. We try to do one thing at a time,
Sure.
Let's say, just for instance, car, house, wedding. What we're trying to do is not get ahead of ourselves to where
Sure.
we have too much going on at once. One thing at a time. We're not rushing into anything. We're young.
Yeah.
We feel like we have time.
So here's the thing that I'll tell you guys is there's no one right or wrong way to do it. Ultimately, if I can get the list of your guys' debts, the interest rate, balance, we can kind of walk through that. We can talk about how much extra cash we have, how we're going to use that, and then ultimately also preparing for the unexpected. So as you can see throughout that conversation, there's kind of three main things that we at Financial Strategies Group work with younger individuals. The first of which is identifying a lifestyle. We need to know what your income is. We need to know what your expenses are. We need to know what's extra because ultimately we can't make any educated decisions on how we're going to pay down debt, how we're going to save, unless we have a good idea of what the extra is every month. The second piece is identifying the debts. And I think we've all been there. I've been there. When you're young, getting out of college, establishing your career, identifying what debts do I pay off first, which ones do I hold on to for the time being, because ultimately we can't do it all. And the third is balancing that with saving, right? So we asked about the retirement plans at work. Ultimately, when you're young and you're just establishing your career, the biggest benefit is making sure you're getting the match from your employer and your employer-sponsored plan. Those are three things that individuals in their mid-20s face. Like, there's no right or wrong answer. Any clients out there, any prospects who are going through this and they have these questions, these are ways in which we can help and ways in which we can kind of cross that bridge and knock these things off one at a time. Looking forward to hearing from you guys, and thank you.